Look, what people have to realize, and what I impress upon all of you, is that Israel is for global terrorism what the Silicon Valley is for high tech. We are the R&D facility for global terrorism. It always starts here, but it never ends here. What starts here will wind up where you guys are. So the best way to stop it is to stop it here. And a clear example of that, especially I hear there's some guys from San Diego here. One of the advents of the last war, which I've been a soldier for 40 years, it was the most frightening thing that I've ever seen, and I've been in 6 wars, was the advent of the terrorist tunnel attacks. When Israeli athletes were murdered at the Olympics, that was a Jewish problem. They didn't even stop the Olympics for a day. They didn't even stop the Olympics for a day. So if there was any point in time where Israel knew it was on its own, it was in 1972, in September of 72, when they couldn't even stop a sporting event for 11 athletes who were murdered in cold blood at a celebration of world peace. When the world allows it to happen here, it's inviting it to happen where you live. And if anyone thinks that ISIS, today as we speak, isn't planning a mass casualty attack on the United States, they're living in a fool's paradise. And I don't mean a San Bernardino attack. I don't mean one that's inspired where people get self-radicalized on the internet. I mean smart young captains, majors, lieutenants, colonel, the equivalent thereof, presenting plans to their staff for a mass casualty attack in the United States with ISIS fighters, not with hobby fighters, with guys who are hardcore. So what starts here ends up in the United States, ends up in Europe. Europe is now beginning to eat the dinner that's been prepared for them in the Middle East. The United States, so far, thank goodness, hasn't. We've had the appetizers, but the main course is coming around the corner. The technology that is developed between the United States military and the Israeli military, which protects Israel today, will protect the United States tomorrow. So when you stand up for Israel, honest to God, you're standing up for yourselves. And I know, especially law enforcement guys who come over here to do counterterrorism training, find a very receptive audience. There's probably no country in the world that loves Americans as much as Israel does. During the war, they moved those cement blocks, those blast shields, in front of the dining hall because there was no way you could eat in the dining hall without danger of being killed, because if a rocket fell, it goes straight through the windows and you're dead. So those blast shields were put up in front of all the windows. They were put up in front of the windows of the synagogue because people could be in there praying. They'd be killed as well. When in 2009, I was taking him around a Marine captain. We were in these kibbutzim, we were in Sderot, and he was my counterpart. And he said, the last time I saw force protection like this was in Fallujah. He said, this is Fallujah without the body armor. I said, now you got it, except that instead of a Marine Corps expeditionary force, you've got 2- and 3-year-old children. That's the difference.
This, by the way, is the dining room. Over here is the dining room, and this is the big shop that we have here that sells fruits, vegetables, there are gifts, there are books, everything, okay? During the last operation here, they call it operation, we call it a war, a rocket hit on the grass here, hit one of the branches of the tree, and all the windows there were smashed. Now can you imagine people are in there buying stuff, there's code red and the windows smash. We have something protective, which means that the windows, even though they smashed, they stayed in one piece. Here, a safety room in case there's code red. They have to get out of the building 7 seconds to get into there. Everywhere you are, you have to know where the safety room is. It's as such that children from this area, when they go to Tel Aviv or any other places, in many cases the first question is, where is the safety room? It's embedded already.
Here we are at Kibbutz Saad, right on the outskirts of Gaza, and this is an amazing situation here. These are children's areas, and the government of Israel and the IDF have built a shield. It's a total shield over the building. The building's inside, and the shield is made out of plate steel, half-inch thick steel welded together. It's just a big cover over the building. And if you look carefully, you can see the building inside and this gigantic shield, all to protect the children.
2 new kindergartens built over here. Now these kindergartens, they're for the, I would say, 3.5 till 6-year-olds. And they are themselves built very, very heavy. So if there are attacks, if you don't manage to get into the safety room, there's a very, very high chance that nothing will happen to you. But even though there still is a safety room there, and when there's a rocket attack and the code red goes off, the children leave what they're doing. It's like soldiers. They hear the code red, they drop everything, and they go into the safety room and they sit down quietly.
You just learned how Israeli children are taught to survive the constant Palestinian and Muslim rocket and mortar attacks. Palestinian Muslim children shown in this video learn basic paramilitary skills to kill Israelis and Jews less than 2 miles from Kibbutz Saad. This is life at Kibbutz Saad on the Gaza border.